So hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with.
And I'm Michael from Convictions.
And we're some questions today about their new album, The Fear of God. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Good. Yeah, it's been out for about a month now, and it's been really exciting just seeing all the new traction and fans and opportunities that have come in. It's been really exciting for us.
Hell yeah, the album fucking rips.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Heck yeah.
Of course.
Of course. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so the album itself, it's like partially conceptual because it's a bit of a continuation of our last record, I Won't Survive. Um, a lot of the prep work that I did for this new record was similar to my last one, where we would go out and find people in our circle, in our lives, our fans, friends that have gone through traumatic experiences, and having them come to us and share their experiences in somewhat of like a journalism approach, where they were so kind of open the door and share their experiences and trying to retell their trauma in like somewhat of a chronological order. Was kind of the process for the most part, but there was also some introspective and societal issues and different like perspectives I think that we put on this, and like how does God play into these like personal narratives with these people, and how are we all connected through that?
Gotcha.
Interesting.
And any meaning behind the cover art?
Yeah. So I wanted to basically have like a physical like representation of God. So the idea of like a cloak just kind of draped over like the universe, and forming like a silhouette of a man was kind of like the I guess like the main drive behind it. And then like with all the single artwork, we kind of wanted to make it look like it was all cohesive and looked like it was almost like living like in the same universe, I guess.
Yeah.
I fuck with cohesive single art. That's fucking hell yeah. Not, because these days it's just like out of left field shit that makes no sense for the record. So when it all kind of connects together, I fuck with that heavy.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, immersive.
Yes.
For sure.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, well, like I was saying before, it was a bit of like a journey of empathy, like finding people that are close to us in our lives, and like trying to understand like their experiences through their eyes. And I think that's something as a writer, like I've really tried to focus on and like hone in on, instead of just writing, things that I've gone through and stuff, but to try to see it through someone else's eyes and retell it accurately was the journey, I would say. But yeah, it was quite daunting. I'm not gonna lie. It took about 2 years to put together.
Wow.
Goddamn.
Oh my goodness. So was that approach to writing where it's kind of like a confessional, it sounds, where someone's just kind of telling you some raw experience that they went through, and then you take that and you write with it. Did you start that with this record, or have you been doing that have you dabbled in it before, I guess?
No, yeah, like I was saying earlier, this is something that we've done on our last record.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like basically like picking up where that one left off in a way. And that record, it was like my first jab at this new like writing style. And so there's even a song on our new record that picks up literally exactly where the last one left off. It's called Swan Song.
Yeah.
It follows up from one of our most popular songs is called the Price of Grace, where a person that had experienced deep pain and trauma and like a tragic life experience, losing his best friend to a suicide, and kind of walking through his 5 stages of grief. And then after a couple years here have passed, where's he at now? And it was just kind of like letting him fill in the blanks for us. So a lot of this new record is kind of like that. It's kind of picking up where we kind of left some of the pieces in the last one.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So do you find it difficult at all, like identifying or writing to someone else's story? I don't think I've heard of that before. I think it's really interesting. So yeah.
It's difficult like to give it the love and care I think it deserves. Like, I don't want to just be, cut and dry, like what they went through was bad, the end, like that's
Chris,
not
yeah.
fair and that's not sensitive. And so for me, like the hardest part is just being honoring the source material as best I can and really
Yeah.
like honoring them and their experiences.
Mhm.
That's the hardest part. I feel like the rest of it, it's pretty, I don't want to say formulaic and make it sound like not um artistic,
Mhm.
but um storytelling has become like a really important part of me as a writer, and I want to try and capture a lot of what like people that put together movie scripts or books, like how a traditional story may lay out or an unconventional story, but like what are the hallmarks and how do you create an arc and a resolution and so forth. So to
Mhm.
me, like that's I guess the formulaic part, but I think it's really like fun and it kind of teaches me a lot about myself, like going through someone's personal narrative and then seeing where
Mhm.
everything kind of falls in place.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So, what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
The longest, I don't like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. Like, we had a song that we're developing for like over 2 years.
Mhm.
It was actually written by my drummer. He had lost his father. I want to say three three years now, maybe
Yeah.
four.
Mhm.
It was around the same time we went in to record a couple of our singles, Stigmata and Supernova.
Mhm.
Um, when we went in to record those, um, I had approached him and said, "Hey, like, would you feel comfortable talking about this in your experience?"
Mhm.
And he gave it a lot of heart and thought and decided he wanted to wait. And I really respected that and thought that was honorable.
Mhm.
So flash forward to now, like in that period, he had a lot more time to process and kind of put together his thoughts, and that ended up becoming our song on our new record, "Hurts Like Hell." So
Mhm.
maybe not like the most time, putting together the words but it was more or less like his journey to
Mhm.
Mhm.
fulfill, this song. So I would say that was the longest maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
But like in like a single sitting, I don't know, maybe we have a song called Waking Nightmare. That one took a long time to put together just because I had to collect a lot of journal entries and notes and text messages and things like that to
Mhm.
accurately tell her story.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Makes
And your
sense.
personal favorite?
Mm. You guys brought the questions today. I don't know. It's kind of changing. Like I feel like Sleeping Lotus, like vocally, like I'm really proud of that.
Mhm.
I enjoy listening to it. But then there's like other songs that like just kind of like depending on my mood, I'll feel more attached to. Like recently, like our title track, the Fear of God. I've been looking at that one. Excuse me. I've been looking at that one a lot, and I feel really like proud of like vocally like the journey I've gone on where I'm trying new techniques and styles and influences. And yeah, it just kind of depends on the flavor of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair.
So how'd the track list for your album come about? Did you guys write the opener to be the opener, closer to be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it there. So the opener and ender were written to be that.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's even a bit of like a loop to it. So
Mhm.
like
Love that.
lyrically, I remember writing that and the opening track and the ending track to like kind of loop.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like the final track, I'm literally opening the opening track with "This is the end," or "Let the end begin,"
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then I'm saying "This is the end. This is the end." So it's basically like a paradox. Like it'll just like
Mhm.
repeat.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
Oh,
fucking awesome.
yeah.
Thanks.
And then the rest of the album, was it like based on vibes, or did you have some sort of of flow that you were looking for?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think put a lot of like thought into like the flow. Like that's the most important thing. Like I would really like someone to be able to listen to a record and it's all like flowing together. And
Mhm.
some of the production that we put into the record too works out really well that way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Where it kind of has like an even ebb and flow. But yeah, there's all kinds of like strategies and stuff that people in marketing will like pitch to you like put all your singles towards the front of the record and then
Yeah.
have a couple fillers and then like like bow tie at the end. Like there's
Mhm.
there's a lot of strategy. It was a little give and take, but for the most part, the big thing was I want someone to be able to experience the record in one sitting and it not feel jarring or, like a song comes out of left field and it doesn't hit right.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's fair. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Ooh, that's a good one. It was tough, really, really tough. So when we went out to write this record, this is like post-COVID. So we actually had a couple members step down for their personal reasons, their
Mhm.
families, and so forth, all in good faith. But um, at the start of the record, it was just Zach and I, my drummer, who was a founding member. And throughout like the COVID process to now, it was like finding the right people to join our band and to go out and tour. And we've gone around the world and done cool stuff, but it was like getting a whole new um, team together and throughout all that, writing the record. And it was extremely difficult, but I'm kind of glad like going through that journey, it kind of shows through in the music. There's a lot of like anger and frustration and confusion and at times it can feel a bit bleak, and that's literally how it felt at times. Like I'll be transparent. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, it's extremely difficult doing what we're doing, like juggling, chasing your dreams and having a personal life and a professional life and a family life, and yeah, it's super hard. But um, I feel like God has like really like blessed us and shown up in our lives and given us opportunities and helped us kind of clear that path, and that's kind of what I wanted the music to mirror.
Hmm.
That's
That's
awesome.
great.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should do in the car with friends, dark with headphones on, is workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I don't know, almost all the above, really. Like there's a lot of different moods and vibes. Like there's songs like Crucible that would be great for just being in the gym. Like
Mhm.
lyrically, obviously there's a bit more weight there, but oh man, that was a good pun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, like there's something for a little everything. There's, moshing songs, there's heavy songs, there's emotional songs, there's songs that you'd cry to, there's songs that you'd throw down to. It's kind of a buffet of emotions, but that's life.
Yeah. As long as people are listening, that's what matters, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
However you
totally.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Emotional,
Okay.
powerful,
Okay.
um, introspective.
There you go.
Oh,
You nailed
fuck
it.
yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want your listeners to have going through the album?
Wrote it to have people feel a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, hopefully, like some, I don't know, at the risk of sounding pretentious, some feeling of like being seen. I think like I
Yeah.
want people like I want people to feel like a connection to this, and if they have similar experiences with their inner turmoils or whatever, like I want them to feel seen because these are things that we try to address in our music.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, love it.
Love it. Wonderful.
Thanks.
And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
Well, like I was kind of saying earlier, like a lot of it really, like our whole lives are kind of being torn in different places, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, it, it's tough. Like I don't want to put anybody's like dirty laundry out there, but there was a lot of internal conflicts and things that we had to sort out and have patience with. Um, which luckily we've all come through like for the better on it, but it was a lot of work and trials and stuff that went into it.
Hmm.
Um, like some of the standout tracks for me here would be like Sleeping Lotus, where I'm describing like a lot of inner conflict with purpose in life and feeling complacent and being controlled by anxiety and feeling like I'm not living up to a certain standard or purpose. Like that's a huge thing for me.
Hmm.
There's Crucible, which is written for a band member of ours that who was going through probably the worst of the worst, like in his personal life, and seeing how he was able to pull himself through that, almost like through the fire crucible,
Hmm.
was really like inspiring to see, but difficult. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it's these aren't like necessarily like the easiest stuff to talk about, but that's kind of the goal of our band. Like we want to try and tackle subjects and difficult topics that your typical Christian artists would stray from. Like that's
Hmm.
like the advantage I feel like we have with metal is like we can go there and be as raw as we want to be.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like a big motivator for us is like let's see how far we can take this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Huh.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
These are the questions I like. Way easier to answer. um, it varies. I'm pretty picky now. Like I'm trying to be a little more health conscious when we're on the road. But yeah, I don't know. Usually I'm bad. I'll go for like a sugar-free energy drink.
Hmm.
Because usually, yeah, I'm just trying to get up and moving. I'm a night owl, so like anything in the daytime, I'm just like trying to get moving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, okay, roller dogs. I'm usually eating those hot dogs that I like love.
No.
Yeah, I told you I'm bad. Like it's
Oh,
hard.
that's like dangerous, dude. On the
Probably.
road, you're eating that shit.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I've trained my body to like fight off some crazy Osmosis Jones or something.
Yeah, you're stronger than the rest of us, probably.
That's
Yeah, that
insane.
shit's like training.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Oh, it'd be a mess. Um, we have a vegan in our band. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like 90% carnivore, like solely. Like
Hmm.
it would just be like the weirdest buffet of everything. I feel like Jake eats like so much candy and stuff. Um, so does Quentin. Zach lives on like Slim Jims and sunflower seeds, and apparently I'm eating roller dogs a lot. So yeah, it would be a mess. You don't want to go near that.
A buffet of all those things. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And for the last couple questions, go shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Ooh. Um, my mom used to make a spaghetti salad when I was a kid, and it's like I don't know, it has like a lot of nostalgia to me. I've thought about
Yeah.
this before. So that would be there.
Hmm.
My dad makes these really cool burgers. He calls them Hella burgers. It's basically like sausage and ground meat, like blended with breadcrumbs and like I think he
Ooh.
uses blue cheese.
Ooh.
So it would definitely be like a lot of like nostalgic family foods. My grandma makes like a crab dip, and I love seafood, so I'd probably like try and sneak in some lobster and crab legs too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then a drink.
Hmm.
Probably milk because I drink a lot of milk, and
Hmm.
it's like a comfort thing.
All right, fair
Oh,
enough.
that's a solid meal. All
All right.
right. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Probably Hogwarts. Yeah,
What house are you?
Slytherin.
Slytherin.
Mhm.
That's fair. Determination. That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, super metal.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Damn right. Damn right.
And I've thought of asking the last question. Every single person I've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Green.
Specific shade of green.
Ooh. Ooh, okay, this is goofy. On TikTok I saw this. It's called Storms in Paris, but it's
Mhm.
basically like a deep emerald green and it's like really muted and moody.
Ooh,
Nice.
that does sound a little moody. It
Yeah.
sounds good as
Yeah.
hell,
I
though.
like that.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that.
So as I said, that's all the questions I have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
To plug, well, obviously the record.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we got a new record. It's called The Fear of God. Check it out. Love to hear what people think on that. We read all the comments, so we're very engaged in that. In my personal life, if you like metal, if you like screaming, this is something I teach. So feel free to DM me if you'd like.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you. It's been Michael from Convictions, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.